Oh, yeah, kneel before the High Council. Kneel before the High Council duo, at least for right now. Welcome, everybody. This is Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and my name is Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year veteran of the comic book industry. World's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. How do I stay humble? It's my humility. That's what does it. Great big Star Wars fan. It's a pleasure to be here tonight with my buddy from World Class Bullshitters, Mr. Jeff Hicks. Jeff, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic, Ethan. It's Tuesday. It's the High Council, and get to hang out with one of my favorite comic book artists and talk about the world of entertainment. So I'm pumped.
Me too. I'm hanging out with one of my favorite comic book artists right now. We're going to talk about entertainment together. For those of you who don't know, Jeff Hicks is the artist of an incredible comic book called Stealing Solo, and I believe that campaign, it was on Indiegogo, has closed down right now. But Jeff is actually sitting here going, Ethan, how do I want to do a variant cover, and I want to think about reopening it. And I'm like, dude, you should. Obviously, you should. Give people another chance. These things are getting closed down too quickly. People are just, our popularity is expanding. Oh, wait a second. Before we go any further, we have our third member of the High Council tonight. I want to take a minute to just reminisce. When the High Council was first started, Jeff, do you remember this?
I do.
The High Council was originally going to be a trio. It was going to be you, me, and your boy Zach of Diversity in Comics. And tonight we have the original trio. Welcome, Zach.
It was actually a quartet because I had this Pizza Hut stuffed crust Italian sausage pizza, and that was a big factor of the first.
All right. Do you have that pizza with you tonight or no?
No, I'm fasting, so I ate the whole thing at the time. But I remember literally where I was in Houston at the time on business and on a business trip, and yeah, I remember that quite well. Fantastic. I remember you talking to me we got this new thing. It's the High Council. It's going to be the biggest thing ever.
And was I wrong? No, I was not wrong. The High Council is the biggest thing ever. It is the biggest show for the fandom Menace. Everybody watches this show who is critical of pop culture and especially Star Wars. Now we're into Game of Thrones. It's like Game of Thrones is quite this. Game of Thrones threw me for a loop. I got to say, fellas, I watched up to season 5, I think. And I went, you know what? This seems like some girl power feminist, SJW crap. And I stopped watching. I watched every single male character on that show be humiliated or turn out to be a rapist or a monster or just ineffectual, a goon, or just get killed, just immediately get killed. It was something like that. There were no real male characters that kind of stood the test of time, except for Jon Snow. Everyone else was a total jerk. And in the meantime, every female character was powerful, decisive, coldly evil, smart, calculating, a survivor, or Yas Queen Slay of the Dragons. I tuned out, Zach.
So I saw a meme on Facebook the morning after the last episode, and it said, "I'm sorry that your dragon TV show made you sad."
Well, you know who we can apply that meme to tonight, gentlemen? We can apply that meme to AOC, but also Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren and AOC, Alexandria Occasionally Cortez, are both very, very upset about this. Very upset for the exact reasons that I said. They had their expectations subverted, and I have to say, sometimes.
Okay, so I have a question at first. Are we confirmed that AOC knows this is a TV show and doesn't think it just happened in real life?
Jeff, what do you think?
I'm not sure. I've seen a couple of her videos, so anything's possible.
Okay, yeah, I am not quite sure either. AOC lives in another fantasy world, and honestly, it's quite possible that she does think that this was another slight against women. So who knows? But when I heard spoiler alert, I'm not going to say it because some of you may not have watched it, but let's just say that if you were expecting one of these powerful, strong women to take the throne, your expectations were subverted. I hope this article doesn't spoil it. If it does, I'm sorry, guys, but this is just too big of a thing. Okay, it turns out that, of course, the kingdom needs to be run by a strong, smart, powerful patriarchal young man, even one who's in a wheelchair, because disability doesn't matter. A disabled man is still a better ruler than a woman with cybernetic, robotic, like the bionic woman. What do you think of that? Is that a fair statement, or is that sexist?
Well, I mean, does the robotics inhibit her ability to lead? Because if that's the case, then yes, you're right.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it would enhance her ability to lead and to jump over buildings and stuff and go when she did it. You know what I mean?
Oh, Lindsay Wagner style?
Yes, and even still, a little boy in a wheelchair would be a better... Is this sexist?
I don't know.
If I'm being sexist, stop me. Okay.
I haven't seen this show, so I'm not sure why I got invited in.
I don't watch it either, so...
No, I don't watch it at all either, but that's irrelevant, Zach. It doesn't matter. It's not about having watched the show. It's about the end result of the show, which I'm sure you know. And basically, the Dragon Queen is not on the throne. The little girl, the little 15-pound girl who could beat the ass of adult men, is not on the throne. None of these people who survived and yet they persisted. None of these people are on the throne. It's a little boy. Senator Elizabeth Warren, future President Elizabeth Warren, and Representative, I'm just kidding, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez are pissed at the ending of Game of Thrones, and they're lamenting the fact that a woman didn't end up ruling all of Westeros. So, in other words, the fictional world of Game of Thrones is reflective of reality. Basically, everybody is very upset about this. The 2020 presidential candidate and freshman congresswoman are airing their grievances with HBO's writers, ripping the men who wrote the script and bashing them for making Daenerys Targaryen go crazy in the final episodes. Tiny spoiler alert. Liz and AOC seem to have their heart set on Dany. Is it Dany or Dany? Just one N. Sitting on the Iron Throne when all was said and done. But they were also let down again by Sansa Stark storyline. Bigger spoiler. And as you know by now, the wheelchair-bound Bran Stark ended up as king. Sorry, spoiler alert. Huge spoiler. A fact that earned some praise from the National Organization on Disability. For pretty obvious reasons, Senator Warren would love to have a woman earn the ultimate title. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. 2020 political foreshadowing. Yes, it is, but not the way that you mean. No word if either signed the petition to remake the final season. By the way, there is a petition out there by some butthurt fans who are very upset about this. 1 million signatures. 1 million signatures to remake the last season of Game of Thrones.
Why is Nia Jax on the Iron Throne?
I don't know, but look at Snoop Dogg.
Well, the woman is a wrestler. I just wonder what she has to do with it. Snoop Dogg can go anywhere he wants.
Yeah. I honestly, if he ruled the kingdom, I think that would be pretty cool. I think it would be pretty dope.
Oh my God.
I'm trying so hard not to be a boomer.
Sorry.
No, I want to be a bomb-ass millennial. Bomb.
Do you, though?
Well, I want to be able to speak to them. We can just kind of rap together, come to some sort of...
You're like a guidance counselor.
Yeah. All right. So this is just great.
I gotta say, Ethan, I right now feel like I know what it's like to be an SJW comic book pro, because I've been invited into something that I'm not qualified for, and I have no idea what I'm doing right now.
Zach, you're doing everything that you should be doing. All you have to do is say, so these two people here are extremely disappointed with the ending of Game of Thrones. And so what does that suggest?
The thing I know about AOC is that she's so dumb that even other Democrats, do you remember when she chased Amazon out of New York City? And then she's like, ha, 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 now they're going to have to give back all the money we gave them. And de Blasio was like, you're an idiot. That was a decrease on future taxes that they're never going to pay. You moron.
She's an amusing test case. She's 29 years old. This is Dunning-Kruger. Is it syndrome? Is Dunning-Kruger a syndrome? What is it? Is it a phenomenon? But this is Dunning-Kruger in action right now. It's just somebody who is so earnest in not understanding how stupid they are, and it's amazing. I mean, she's very, very charming on the internet. I think Donald Trump kind of even has a fairly good idea of his IQ, of his own IQ, relative to other people. I just think he thinks he's more fun and kind of wilier. But AOC doesn't realize how dumb she is. She really has no idea, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of amusing to watch.
That's the trick in life. Your success is not limited by your stupidity. Your success is limited by if you know how dumb you are. If you're dumb and you know you're dumb, you can be incredibly successful.
I think that's true. Yeah, I'm always quick to let people know that I'm dumb. I think that the thing about it is that actual like smart people think they're dumb because they're aware of people's IQ relative to their own. Like you've been around really really smart people, and I have. Like I've been in a room and sat and spoken to Grant Morrison, and I'm like, that IQ. I mean, that guy is super super smart, and you just go, wow, I am really dumb. Like I didn't realize how stupid I was until I talked to a really smart person. But really, actually dumb people don't recognize that. So I guess I'm saying that I'm sort of smartish, but dumb. Average. Is that average?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to do that? Like you know when you're talking to a really smart person, like not right now.
Well, one of the things that you know that when you're talking to a really smart person is they'll be very, very patient with you because they've dealt with this before in pretty much every conversation they've ever had. So one of the things about a hint that someone is dumb is they will start using very fancy words. Well, smart people are used to expressing themselves very simply and clearly.
Because they're used to people not being on their level, and they're patient about it, and they don't want to have to go through the rigmarole of trying to explain themselves over and over again. So they've learned to dumb down in order to speak to common people. That's a great that's a pretty good analysis of the way things go. So anyway, I think at the end of the day, as long as pop culture upsets people like this, I'm happy. It's strange. Like I don't expect this kind of thing anymore. My expectations were subverted back again.
Well, yeah. So I was actually, I mean, I don't watch the show, but even if you don't watch the show, you know about it because it's just talked about all the time. And I was doing all these predictions, and all the predictions were based on being super politically correct. It's gonna be the 16-year-old girl. She's gonna be on the throne, or it's gonna be this woman or that woman, and then it's just the psychic handicap guy, and you're like, oh, wait. Mm-hmm. Now, I think you were saying that this is just a quick wrap up because the guys are like, I'm trying to start Star Wars. But I don't know. Apparently, they went off the notes of that Hobbit guy. So
the Hobbit guy. Here's the thing about it. All right, first of all, people are saying
he's from your neck of the woods, right? He's from what's that? It's a Jersey town right near all the bridges and the.
Who, George R.R. Martin is from like Trenton, Newark?
No, not Trenton, not Newark. It's the Jersey town that's just south of New York City that does a lot of the ships go in and out of it.
Are you saying Jersey City?
I think
when you said Jersey City, it might just be Jersey City. That's not my neck of the woods. That's North Jersey. I'm South Jersey. They might as well be two different planets. I mean, they're really.
None of you guys pump your own gas, so you're the same.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I've gotten lazy about that too. Like if I go to another state, I'm like, why do I have to pump my own gas?
That's like real Jersey stuff because when I go there, it's horrifying. When I lived in New York City, I would pay for Manhattan gas prices when I was driving through Jersey, just so I never. It's such an awkward experience. But Jersey people love it. They feel like kings. Look at me. Look at my servants.
Yeah, you're having everywhere. People handle your car. First of all, they're taking your credit card. They're putting it into a gas pump. They are handling your automobile. They're telling you to scoot forward if you're too far away from the pump. They're ordering you around so they can fill. And by the way, you go, well, am I supposed to tip these people? There's a Jersey code. I'm going to tell you the Jersey code. If you do tip people, you can say goodbye to your kneecaps because New Jersey guys, they don't like that. They're like, we've got a conspiracy going here. If you tip them, we're all eventually going to have to tip them. They're going to be like cats that found, like stray cats that found meat at your back door. They're going to be there all the time now. Do
So I
not.
didn't know that, and sometimes I would get off on the exit where I thought it was what is it? Delaware is the next.
Delaware is the next state down. Yeah.
So they would say Delaware, and then I would jump on I was like, oh, I need gas, and then I pulled over, and it's like the last Jersey stop. So two things: I don't like to be classist, but everyone who ever pumped my gas in New Jersey, they looked like extras from a Mad Max movie. They looked like they were from a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah. That will they look like I don't want to say that. I shouldn't say that. I was going to say they look like not that's racist. Sorry. I almost said something that was kind of like 2002, 2001, 2002 style racist, if you know what I mean. We won't go there. We shouldn't go there. But yeah, they are all very strange people. And they do want to kind of touch your automobile and tell you what to do. And they kind of take your manhood away because you're used to having your wife sit in the car. You get out, you pump the gas while your family waits. And they take that right away from you. So I don't know. It is Jersey. It's something that you kind of get used to. And then it gets awkward when you go to another state. When you just go to Philadelphia, everything changes. It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, in any case, this is all good news. And I guess this carries over to Star Wars because of something that you just said. The guys who actually did this, did they write this season or did they just show run it? Do you know about this, Jeff?
I just keep hearing them be called the showrunners. I've only seen one episode of this show and it was the first of this season. So
yeah, showrunners. I don't know what that means exactly. I'm not sure what showrunners do. It makes me think they're gophers, but I know they're more important than that. That's
like the senior producers that they decide the way it's going, but they were based off of a outline by George R.R. Martin.
All right, so I'm hearing that they wrote it. Everyone's saying they show-runned it and they show-wrote it and they ruined it. Now that is a popular opinion. So they wrote this, and then a lot of people are saying, look, they kind of shortened this, they cut it all off, they kind of brought things to a crashing end so that they could move on and work on Star Wars. Now, this has been a dizzying experience for me because these two gentlemen, first of all, I was excited about Game of Thrones people working on Star Wars for a long time. I was like, yes, get these people. They know something about storytelling. I wasn't aware of who they were, any of their work. I just heard Game of Thrones. These guys know what they're doing about storytelling. Let's get Rian Johnson the fuck out of here. Let's boot his round head over the fence as hard as we can and never hear from him again. And then people said, no, Ethan, these guys are even worse than Rian Johnson. They're even worse because look what they did to Game of Thrones. Now they said, look what they did to Game of Thrones. They were saying that to me 2-3 weeks ago. I want to reoffer this. I want to say, yes, look what they did to Game of Thrones. Does that mean anything different now?
Honestly, we might as well be talking about telenovelas at this point. I have nothing to offer.
All right. Well, in any case, I'm just saying now I'm willing to give them a second chance because they subverted my expectations and they subverted my expectations back to the way that they were before.
Dude, nobody is good. George Lucas is Star Wars. That's it. He's Star Wars.
Is he? Oh, I was going to say, Jeff, did you see this? George Lucas has writing credits on Mandalorian.
I did see that.
What the holy hell?
He also was way more involved in the Star Wars Clone Wars TV show that's effectively perfect. He was not some guy who would visit like once a year. He was writing scripts. His daughter was writing scripts. He was at pitch meetings. Like I hate the demonization of him. He's made a handful of dumb ideas, and he created like the biggest pop culture event of possibly everything since the Greek myths. So him being on The Mandalorian is freaking fantastic. And all these other movies, they're not Star Wars. They're just some stupid HBO showrunner BS.
So we completely agree. And I don't think anybody at this point, I think everybody is kind of agreed that George Lucas's prequels are superior, infinitely superior in every way to the second trilogy. And honestly, seeing him come back, there were rumors that he was actually on the set of Game of Thrones. He was telling these guys, giving them ideas and stuff. And there were these encouraging signs that George Lucas was actually going to be there to help with this third trilogy, or this new trilogy, with the Game of Thrones guys, that was going to take place in the Old Republic. So that is phenomenal. And then all of a sudden, people are like looking at everybody's like kind of crowding the the Mandalorian IMDb page, and you look at this stuff, and let's see, where is it here? See full cast and crew. Look at this series writing credits: George Lucas, 8 episodes; Jon Favreau, George
Dave
Lucas,
Filoni. Oh, this thing's gonna be good,
dude. You gotta
be really good.
I mean, my mind is blown by this. It's like Disney might actually get something right. And
the lead is freaking fantastic. Pedro Pascal. He was in Triple Frontier, and he was excellent in that.
I don't know him. Let me see. So
he was in Kingsman too. He was pretty good in that.
He's Kingsman, and he looks like 2 different people from Kingsman 2. He's the classic chameleon actor.
Yeah, look at his head, man. He looks like a handsome Quentin Tarantino. Like right here, Yeah. So he's in Kingsman. He was in Game of Thrones. Oberyn Martell.
Actually, that's like the one episode I ever saw. I just remembered. Yeah, he was like this badass who was fighting this giant, and then he almost won, and then he got a little cocky, and then he got his skull crushed. But that's symbolic right there for a lot of things lately.
He was in Homeland. He was in. Oh, I thought this said Rear Widow. I was like, that sounds like porn. That sounds like Hitchcock porn. But Red Widow, A Good Wife. I didn't watch. All right, this guy's been around for a long time. He's kind of gone unnoticed, and I hope you know who else kind of went unnoticed? Brie Larson, until suddenly everybody knew who she was in an annoying way. Been in everything, unnoticed actor. I hope this guy's good. You guys are saying he is good.
He's really good.
Yeah.
I love Jon Favreau. I think Jon Favreau is one of the smartest directors and writers in Hollywood, and extremely underrated. And I loved him in Iron Man.
I just rewatched Iron Man 2 a couple weeks ago, and it's actually pretty good. It was just bad compared to Iron Man 1, but compared to most superhero movies the last 10 years, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, the Iron Man movies are interesting for me. First of all, I'm a big fan. Those are the only movies that I've seen all of. I've seen all 3 Iron Man movies. I've seen all the Hulk movies too. Those are my 2 favorite Marvel characters. But Robert Downey Jr. is a genius, and he is not unlike Christopher Reeve in that it doesn't really matter. I mean, the first 2 movies are good. The third movie is a little bit goofy, but it doesn't matter because it's got Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man in it. Just like it's got Christopher Reeve's Superman and Superman 3 and 4. There's something good about it. It's worth watching.
Speaking of Brie Larson, I'm not the biggest Iron Man fan, but I've watched the first 2. I saw a little bit of the third one. But Tony Stark is a character. How do you make another movie out of Captain Marvel?
You don't?
Everyone likes her and she wins easily and she smacks the guy across the desert?
Well, let me ask you this. What if she were queer?
I mean, honestly, that's the only thing to do story-wise with this character. There's nothing there.
How about this? The case for making Captain Marvel queer. Let's go to the Mary Sue. By the way, I want to point out for those longtime Comic Artist Pro Secrets viewers, I know the Mary Sue is watching my videos. They covered up the booty on their logo. This was one of my favorite things about the Mary Sue is, we get a nice back view of a woman. And I like the booty on that. And this is a little bit more of a badonkadonk than I'm used to from the Mary Sue logo. Little bit more junk in the trunk than I'm accustomed to seeing. But they covered it up because I guess this is a Star Trek character. Is this Ursula or no? What's her name?
Uhura
from Star Trek. So they covered it up a little bit. That doesn't make me happy, but even still, I gotta say, Mary Sue, great logo. That you want to talk about powerful women, and that is awesome. So Mary Sue is now making a case for making Captain Marvel queer, just like Zach was just a few minutes ago. Zach is excited about this idea.
Either make her gay or make her a vampire. I mean, there's nothing there. I know less about this character after watching the movie.
They're making fun of me for calling her Ursula. Yeah, but Zach, you're on a vampire kick lately because you're watching the Blade movies.
Oh yeah, I watched all three, and now I'm on. I'm gonna watch all the Star Trek movies, the original cast. I'm watching that first one. The movie is absolutely insane. It's basically Microsoft Flight Simulator for the Enterprise. They do every single part you cut out of a movie is in there. At one point, Kirk takes over the Enterprise and he wants to have an all hands meeting. So he says, Chekhov, we're going to have an all hands meeting at 0400. Go tell everyone that. Lines like that are never in movies. Like what? It's like telling someone to go water their plants. Go water the plants in the terrarium. And then they have the meeting, and they show every single part of the briefing. They don't just cut to everyone's shocked, and it's like, if anyone wants to quit, I won't think less of you. They show the entire briefing, and then at the end, he tells the audiovisual aide to turn off the screen. She's still shocked from what they learned. And then he tells her to turn off the screen again. They did everything but show the janitor cleaning up and vacuuming afterwards.
Well, wouldn't you have questions about how those things happened if you didn't actually see them in the movie? I mean, wouldn't you be, Star Trek fans are very particular about that. There's a little bit of, don't you think?
I think from what I remember, it was actually a pilot for a TV show. And I think they had to stretch a pilot script into a feature script. So they just I'm expecting a scene where Shatner is just like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And then he just goes there, the door closes. And then it's just the closed door for 2 minutes. And then it opens up and he's drying his hands.
That would actually be good. I would like to see that. All right. So Zach, let's see what the Mary Sue says. They're thinking about they have the same questions that you do. Captain Marvel is a blank character. This is one thing that we've been saying all along. Your entire channel was kind of it blew up in popularity. If you go back and look at your most popular videos, they're all about Captain Marvel. And this was before the movie.
I just got copyright struck on a 2-year-old video.
Are you serious?
And it's one of those real copyright strikes where you gotta I don't live stream, but it can take the channel down. They have these fly by night, companies, usually in Eastern Europe, and they'll just blast everyone. There's no footage. It's literally just a publicity still and me talking for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I got a real copyright strike on it. So I gotta go appeal that now.
I don't like those copyright strikes. Hey, Jeff, I did a video today. I got on the piano and I sang Genuine's Pony.
Oh, God.
I did a nice cover of it, right? And I posted it. I just went, here's my piano cover of Genuine's Pony. And by the way, everyone who heard it thought it was really, really good. Came down instantly. I've never seen this happen before on a YouTube channel, on my own YouTube channel. Instantly, and I didn't get a notification, or I haven't got one yet, that it was copyright struck down. But if you put up a cover version of something, they take it right down now.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you can get 3 bars in. What was it, Angry Joe show? Mm-hmm. He got hit. I think it was a real copyright strike for him humming or singing something jokingly from a 3-year-old video.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. You can't do cover versions. You can't say, well, I guess that's the way it is now. Those are the rules. And yet, I've been singing Wilson Phillips' Hold On with lyrics about penislessness.
Why?
I sing it all the time. It's my song about holding on for just one more day, and then Wolverine is gay. But yeah, I haven't gotten copyright struck for that. And that actually, when I sing that song, I actually sound better than Wilson Phillips. I think most people here will tell you. When I sing Hold On by Wilson Phillips, I sound like a scion of Brian Wilson. I really do sound good. But have not gotten struck for that. Have gotten struck for Jump On It, My Pony on the piano. It doesn't sound anything like this song. It didn't sound anything like the song. Tube Socks 000 says EVS is the fat sister. And Wilson Phillips.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a transgender person on yesterday, and my crowd wasn't making fun of her. They were calling me trans fat.
that's cold.
She thought so too. Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful, you guys. Yeah, people are. Don't worry, I can sing. I have to sing my own songs. I have to sing originals, and I will. These people aren't going to stop me from singing. All right, so the directors of Captain Marvel discussed Carol's sexuality in a new interview. And this is an article not written by Kate. What's her name? This is somebody named Chelsea. By the way, I don't think I know any Chelseas that wouldn't want to exclude me from some event. I don't think I've met a Chelsea who wouldn't want to exclude me from an event. Let me think about it. Every Chelsea I know is an SJW. They would want to exclude me from something, persecute me. Everyone. All right. Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, the directors of Captain Marvel, achieved several firsts with their foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, Zach, you saw this movie. What did you think?
It was very frustrating. It's not really a movie. It's just like a lazy episode of a TV show, but it's kind of pointless to have an opinion on it because it didn't exist to be enjoyed. It's just, yes, Queen Slay, something, first female superhero, except for all the other ones, but we're going to ignore that. Bruh. Like, even the people who like it don't talk about anything but the box office and the cat.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, everyone loved the cat. They liked the cat in China too. They didn't like Brie Larson in China. They said some bad things about her. But does her hair bother you? I don't. Does it bother you? Does it look like she just rolled out of bed?
She looks better in this movie than with that weird I need to see a manager haircut in Avengers.
Oh.
Did you see Avengers yet?
No.
In the middle, like in the beginning of the movie, she looks like this. Well, kind of different. And then like midway through, she comes back with the short haircut from the book and looks weird.
I only saw the incel version of the Avengers that everyone's upset about, where they edited out all of the Brie Larson and all of the, SJW stuff, and it's a 46-minute movie now.
I was about to say the real movie edited out all the Brie Larson shit. That woman is barely in the movie for all the hype. Honestly, dude.
Oh, yeah.
5 lines of dialogue.
It's very interesting because the Avengers don't like her.
Mm-hmm.
Then she disappears. Then she shows up, and then she literally just gets punched off the screen unceremoniously by Thanos. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, they pump her up, and then they might be setting her up for actually having a storyline in the next movie. Like, I thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I found out I wasn't. So that might be the storyline. But yeah, she doesn't do anything.
We got a $20 super chat. Got to read this. Ian Aldridge, thank you for $20. To people that are unhappy with TV shows, movies, comic book outcomes, etc., make your own. People everywhere are writing amazing stories like Cyberfrog. No, they're not. Only me. What do you think? Anybody can do what I do? I know you didn't mean it that way, Ian, but and he says, and Ethan, don't get your peacock feathers up. You're still fat. What the They pay me $20 to call me fat. Well, so I guess that's okay. We were talking about this. They actually had 2 separate endings. That was the rumor. The ending was that, or the rumor was that there was an ending in which, Captain Marvel comes and saves the day. And then there's another ending in which, Captain America and, all the sort of unpowered heroes end up defeating Thanos. Does it seem like an ending was switched out by any chance, or what do you think?
It seems like the whole movie was edited. The opening is what feels the weirdest to me because you didn't see Captain Marvel. The end credit sequence shows her. Remember the pager from the last Avengers?
Yeah.
They make that out to be a big deal. This is never shown, but it's shown in the Captain Marvel trailer or the Captain Marvel end credit sequence. So you'd think, like they do with all the other Avengers or the big crossover movies, as they show a scene from the next movie and then they put it in the next movie and expand upon it. And I did a video. I think our last Captain Marvel video did like 700,000 views, and I made the point, scene by scene. about how they always do that. And I think they actively or retroactively went back and changed it because her just finding Iron Man in the beginning in outer space made no sense. She's just there. Otherwise, I mean, they actually had scenes filmed where the Avengers are like, who are you? Where's Fury? Blah, blah, blah. So they cut all this shit out at the last minute. And the only reason I believe that there are multiple cuts is because a lot of the leaks came true, like the Hulk destroying his arm. Well, they said he lost his arm, but he essentially did. And all these crazy things that happened in the movie, and you go, oh, that'll never happen. And then you watch it, and you're like, well, shit, I guess that person was kind of right.
Yeah.
And supposedly the arm injury is a permanent arm injury, which is kind of weird to me. It almost says we're going to write him out forever.
Kind of, I think that's the plan, dude. It feels like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to get a Spider-Man style reboot, meaning Spider-Man will be the lead, and they'll just kind of make new characters to go with him.
There has not been a Spider-Man movie. I have not seen Spider-Man in these last 4 movies. I've seen some intern for Tony Stark. Like, ridiculous.
Well, I put it like this. I don't like him in his own movie, but I loved him in Infinity War because I thought the dialogue was well written. Other than that, Tom Holland's not my favorite Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is kind of in the Avengers movies. Peter Parker is kind of like the Nasser of comic. You know what I mean? Like he just seems like he's there and he's young and he's looking for advice and stuff. He doesn't seem like Peter Parker. Peter Parker is a scientist. The kid's a genius and he's super responsible. To have him be a groupie of Tony Stark is a little bit wacky, but I think people are saying that. Gark777, thanks for $9.99, says F. Brie Larson, FSJWs. Go see John Wick 3 and F. Jeremy in a lovely way. John Wick 3, yeah.
That was incredible.
Have you seen it yet, Zach?
No, I'm going to be seeing it this weekend.
Zach is the biggest John Wick fan in the world.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I don't want to go on an opening weekend with the 8 million normies. I want to go there where I can concentrate. So that's why I waited a week.
You don't need to concentrate for a John Wick movie.
I think so. There's a lot of lore in that franchise. It's actually got some pretty good lore.
There's a lot. Look, and I won't spoil it since you're going to go see it in just a couple days. There's a lot of shit revelation-wise, but the end fight scene is probably one of the coolest visual fight scenes you've probably seen in like 10 years. Just they fight in this room, and you're like, holy shit, how have I never seen anything like this before? It's incredible.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I'll be reading the super chats. I'll catch up with them. I want to do this article first. By the way, I saw John Wick 1, and that was the only one that I've seen. I don't know about the lore that you're talking about. Am I going to learn a lot of things? I bought John Wick 2 digitally, so I mean to sit down and watch that before I go see 3. Is there a lot of stuff in John Wick 2 that's going to make me say, holy cow?
I feel like it's really good.
Yeah,
you can just watch it as an action movie, but then there's this whole, very intricate world that you especially notice if you rewatch the movies.
Yeah, it was excellent. It was absolutely excellent. I wouldn't have expected that. But John Wick 3, they got to make those comics better, man. We got to get a hold of John Wick somehow.
Wasn't it Dynamite Entertainment or somebody that does them?
Yeah, Dynamite's got John Wick right now.
They got James Bond too, and they suck.
Well, you love James Bond. I have nothing to say about James Bond, really.
Oh, I do. Lots of things.
What would you do? What would you do with James Bond if you had it?
Well, the only problem is what they have is based on the books, not the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you have to basically build off the old novels. You can't, or create your own shit. You can't say, like, oh, when he fought Goldfinger and make it look like Goldfinger and all this stuff. So, it's kind of an odd creation. I bought the first, 15 issues trying to support it, but...
Yeah, you can't use likenesses. That's a big thing. Like I don't know how they're doing it. They're getting away with it with John Wick because I think they are actually trying to make him look, God, what's his name?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah, I think they're trying to make him look like Keanu Reeves. But in other cases, like you're not allowed to use likenesses. And with James Bond, yeah, that's one in which you've got to kind of do a bland sort of. James Bond without actually utilizing one of the James Bond actors. So yeah, have you read the novels?
Oh yeah, I have all of them, multiple printings of them.
Really? You're like, Zach, what do you think of James Bond?
I'm not really that much into that franchise. I've liked some of the movies and other ones I just don't care.
All right, let's have a pitch meeting about John Wick then. So Zach, we got the John Wick comic book license.
Okay.
What are we gonna do?
Well, he was in the Marines. So you do a prequel about his time in the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the first script. The script was called Scorn. They changed it to John Wick because Keanu just kept telling everyone, I'm in this movie called John Wick. But the script is called Scorn. It was written about a Vietnam vet, and they established that he was in the Marines. And then the back tattoo is actually is connected to a Marine unit. I believe it's based out of Hawaii, which is pretty darn good because Keanu is from Hawaii. So I would, do his time in the Marines or just getting out.
So you would do kind of a prequel to John Wick.
Yeah.
Oh, would you do an old man John Wick after that or no?
I think he's probably going to die. I don't see him. It doesn't seem like a story that's based around him going back to his house in Jersey. So they just announced chapter 4 going to be out in 2 years. And I'm thinking that is going to be the wrap up. And I'm guessing it's going to be him being either dead or permanently out.
That's what I thought this movie was going to be.
Yeah, like that, the death of John Wick.
Yeah, because I was like, well, that's the end of the trilogy type of thing. And then I saw it, and obviously there's a part 4, so I'm not spoiling it for anybody. But yeah, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, Fenrin Howes, by the way, just said, anyone pissed off lately? Yeah, I think most people seem to be. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. All right. Let me get to this here. I want to figure out if Captain Marvel is going to be gay, or if this is just the hopes and dreams of the Mary Sue. I've heard rumors about this, but Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, the directors of Captain Marvel, achieved several firsts with their foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Boden was the first woman to direct a film in the MCU. And Captain Marvel was the first female hero to headline her own movie. That's not true. God damn it. Why do they keep saying that? That's not true. How many female heroes have been... All right, and the film had the rare distinction of being one of the only MCU films without a romantic subplot. Why is it a big deal? And they're being very specific about this. As the first female hero to headline her own movie within the MCU, big deal. You know what? If I start my own franchise of movies, the all caps comics films, and then like the third movie I make is one starring a female character, it's the Heather Swain movie. What do I get to go around trumpeting that this is the first female led all caps comics movie? Who cares? There have been millions and millions, literally millions, of movies that star women. Millions. Who cares if it's the first MCU movie? Why does that make a difference? There was Elektra. That wasn't so good. There was Catwoman. That wasn't so good.
Want to try Wonder Woman for something decent?
Wonder Woman was good. Wonder
Yeah.
Woman was good. What else was there? It had to have been a few. Barbed Wire.
Classic.
All through the 90s, Zach and I glorify the 90s, but all through the 90s, like the guys in the 90s were like, hey, we're feminists. And male feminists in the 90s were completely different. They wanted to create female characters that were super sexualized, hypersexualized, but would kick you in the face with a stiletto boot for looking at their boobies. That's what like male feminists were in the 90s. I liked it better that way. Because, it was odd and perplexing. It was just like, hey, Barbed Wire, she's the feminist hero. And meanwhile, like, she's half naked and everything. She's riding the pole, the stripper pole. And then you say, hey, what's up, babe? And then she literally beats your brains out with her foot and goes, don't call me babe. And, like, you're like, yeah, go, sister. Things have changed, Zach.
Yeah.
Am I wrong though? Have you noticed that phenomenon?
I don't remember male feminists in the 1990s existing.
Well, if you were in comics,
the thing I remember about the 1990s is very positive, and things were just kind of good, and people felt like basically everything had been won. Like racially, things were very calm and happy. I don't remember the constant drama and tension and anxiety that we have right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. So, but there were efforts by men to appease women. They were just trying to appease women who weren't SJWs. And so, like, if you ask, there's this whole phenomenon where like normie men who wanna appease women with their sort of fantasies. They go, well, I'm used to seeing Rambo. Rambo is my kind of a hero, man. He represents powerful, you know. Maybe women want the same thing. Maybe women want like half-dressed, beautiful versions of themselves, but they're not going to take any garbage from men. They're not going to take any guff from no man. So yeah, while they're extremely sexy and they're eye candy, if you point it out to them, they will shoe you in the scrotum. And that was the whole weird mentally ill phenomenon of the 90s. And I remember the discussions of this vividly. I remember sitting around with people talking about how weird it was that barbed wire, that men thought that's what women wanted to say. And things that just doesn't exist anymore. That was an entirely self-serving thing from the 1990s for like men who considered themselves to be feminists, but were just really actually normie men. And they got that beaten out of them. All right, I'm getting too oblique here for Zach, but that was the 90s. All right, that last distinction, coupled with Carol Danvers' big queer energy and her close friendship with Maria Rambeau, has pinged our gaydar for some time now. In a new interview, Bowden and Fleck discussed broaching Carol's sexuality and where it fits into her overall character arc. Fleck said of Danvers, quote, that was one of the things when we were in the writing stage and the sky was the limit and the movie could be anything. We were discussing, are we going to get into the type of romantic relationship with this character? It wasn't like there was a philosophical opposition to pursuing that storyline. It just came down to real estate and the story we were telling. We knew we were telling a story of self-discovery and we wanted friendship and her friendship with Maria to be a huge part of that. There was no room for any romantic storyline for us. I know people have made their own conclusions about that, and I think that's part of the fun of making these movies, is that they become the audience's movies, and they get to create any kind of narrative they want for what's happening off the screen. For us, as storytellers, it's a friendship and a story about that and self-discovery. Jeff, what did that mean?
Absolutely nothing.
Self-discovery?
Well, the thing I took away from that when you're reading it is they're still talking about this movie, and it, to me at least, it shows that they're trying to do anything to make Captain Marvel feel relevant. Like, I get it, it made its money, but it's kind of left the public consciousness. People were focused on Avengers. And
that thing is gone from the public mind, like completely. As soon as Avengers came out, like it's like Captain Marvel never happened.
And then Avengers basically cuts her out of the movie, so I think that hurts Captain Marvel even further.
But it made $1 billion, though, guys.
Well, so did Transformers 4. Is it good?
I don't think so, no.
The answer is no, Ethan.
Yeah. Do kids like her? Wyatt Safran says kids like her. Do kids like Captain Marvel? Who likes Captain Marvel?
Not really, no.
I have a 13-year-old cousin, and she likes all the Marvel movies, all that stuff. And I asked her at Easter, I said, did you like Captain Marvel? She just said no, just flat out. And she said, I just didn't really like that movie. And that was the end of it. I didn't have to coerce her. She doesn't know what I do for a living. She just didn't like it. And she seems like the type that whoever wrote this movie would want to target. Like, oh, Captain Marvel's your hero. This girl likes Wonder Woman.
By the way, this is what all comic book art looks like right now.
Yeah, that's actually pretty much, That's pretty much what most Marvel art and almost all the indies.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't like it.
It's trash. It's this is the, everything's great. It was such a big cliche 10 years ago to say, what's going to happen when everyone gets a trophy generation as adults? And it's right now, and things are terrible. No one can handle any adversity. Nobody can handle any criticism, and we get absolutely unsellable crap, putting stores out of business. And you can't say, this looks like a semi-promising junior high school student. That's probably a 30 or 35-year-old adult who drew that.
Is this like a Hallmark card? Like, what is the style? First of all, this is what Tumblr looks like. If you go through Tumblr art and you especially look at shipping forums, I had to examine shipping for a couple of videos that I was doing about the weirdos of Star Wars fandom. And all of the artwork looks like this. It's sort of super cute, like childish adults. Like this is the face of my 3-year-old, essentially. And this is just a 3-year-old, but they have womanly bodies. and they're about to have sex or something. They adore each other, and it
You
looks
notice
like
the whole balance is off. She's leaning to panel left, but even being super strong, she would be leaning to panel right just to offset the weight. Like
yeah.
the cape doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Like
she's got an enormous hunchback too. I mean,
yeah. Well,
under
again,
there.
this is the I'm guessing the artist is of some group where you can't say, "Oh, this is poorly drawn." Like, "Oh, you're saying these people can't draw?"
Yeah, and by the way, people in the chat are all pointing out the enormously fat ass wide hips of Captain Marvel, which is another thing that this art kind of has going for it. The women all have they say realistic proportions, but no, just fat people proportions. I mean, just average people, just people that you might see in the mall, working at a hot dog hut, selling you lemonade. Just just wide hips, just a normal person, not a superhero. And there's something about these SJWs. I don't know why they want to do this, but they actually want to drag superheroes down to their own level.
They just hate. I mean, it's the same thing. They hate everyone. They hate everything, and they just like destroying people. And they've realized the little keys of sanctimony that will get you through all the doors, and they just break things. I've said this before. SJWs are worse than terrorists because terrorists at least have objectives. SJWs just want to destroy everything.
Yeah, but is it that simple? I mean, is this style of art, do they not actually think what they're doing is good? Do SJWs think this is good?
Oh, they know it's bad because they apply different sets of standards. You know, good things can bear criticism, but they will immediately go to if you say this is a poorly drawn drawing, they will say, "Oh, you're a homophobe who hates gay people." And I'm just saying the balance is off. You don't lean in the direction of the thing you're carrying, you lean in the opposite direction.
She's standing straight up. She would be holding a bundle of flowers, essentially. She is well, in any case, by the way, people in the chat are all saying they like the wide hips. I'm overruled on the hips. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that traditionally superheroes don't look like that. Superheroines don't look like that. Superheroines, they look idealized. They look perfect. Like all they do is exercise all day long, and their bodies are in peak physical condition.
Well, they're in this weird position where there's two things that happen. There's these two approved body types. One is the one for indie stuff, and that is small breasts, wide hips, thick thighs, and then a very plain face. Mm-hmm. And then specifically in Marvel, and in the more traditional superhero styles, like in this horrible book by Gail Simone. Oh, that was redundant. Sorry, this Gail Simone book. Like all the women have the exact same body type, and it's narrow hips, no breasts, a medium amount of muscle tone, and these very plain faces, blank expressions, no makeup, not especially pretty or plain, just kind of like we figured out what gets us protested by the least amount of psychotic people on Twitter.
That is hate, isn't it? Like that actually is hate. Like they're doing that on purpose because they hate you, the reader. They're going, we know what you like. We know the reason.
Oh, yeah. They know what people generally like. And this is men and women, this is straight people and gay. Is, there was a standard body type that popped up, through 70 years of superheroes. It was the idealized borderline on almost silly idealization of the human form. And so now they're basically drawing their roommates. That's what they're drawing. Their roommates.
Their roommates, yes. Well, Brie Larson looks like your roommate. I've said over and over again. Brie Larson looks like your pissed off ex-wife. She looks like your baby mama that you're estranged from, who really resents you. There's something in this woman's face. There's something in this woman's hair. Look at this. Look, you owe me child support, a-hole. Look at her. I mean, that's what she looks like. And she's like, yo, why don't you just give her child support that you owe her? Like, that's her new best friend.
By the way, that was the least convincing friendship I have ever seen in a movie.
Really?
It was barely even sketched in. there's actually good friendships in the Marvel movies. Bucky and Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers, even Captain America, Winter Soldier. One of the things I like about that is they had what any other movie would have made a love triangle. They just made them friends. Black Widow, Captain America, and Falcon are co-workers and friends, and that's it. They even had like a friend meeting of Sam Wilson. Him and Steve Rogers both jog in the same park every morning, and one is faster, and they're competitive because they're military guys. That was one of the only friendships I've ever seen in a movie that was like a real friendship.
Yeah,
it was good.
All right. So in any case, I think the answer to this is yes. She should be gay. It's a diplomatic answer.
Can you go back up, Ethan?
Yeah, to the picture or the Septopia. Well,
The picture at the top.
Yeah.
And zoom in on her haircut and her clothes on the woman on the left.
Okay.
Tell me that is not specifically done a la who's the woman from the Star Wars movie with the
Rose
toys?
Tico?
Tell me that is not Rose Ticoization. They are taking an attractive woman and giving her the stupidest haircut possible with the baggiest and least flattering. What is that? A Mork from Orc T-shirt on her underneath?
Look at what it did. It utterly destroyed like the her midsection here that should taper inwards. It's
by the way, this is a scene at her house. Like, this is not like work clothes and she works in a factory. That's just her hanging out in the house, and then Carol Danvers came by to visit.
She chose a denim potato sack, and she chose an Emo Phillips haircut.
The same director who told that bullshit story of it wasn't a political decision to not. She's the only superhero who has not had a romance except for Blade, and even Blade in the first two movies, there was a woman, there was some kind of attraction. He was just too busy. There are dead scenes where basically nothing's happening, and they're just vamping. Like that co-writer, co-director lied. It was not that they just didn't have room for a romance storyline. They purposefully didn't do it because of the weird gender politics of 2019. That's why.
So weird. You know what's really weird? I want you to just stare at this picture right now and look at their eyes and look at their faces and tell me it doesn't look. Tell me, I know they don't physically look like them, but if you just stare at their eyes and their faces and go back and forth, you know what it is? It's the two twins from The Shining.
Kind of. It's two people who are given a role that aren't actual human characters. Okay, so you're friends. Why? You're near each other and you're women. Okay, so what is my life like? At some point, you had a relationship with a man because you have a kid. You sit in your house in a potato sack and wait for your friend/lover to show up from being in space for 20 years. Also, you look the exact same. Like, how as an actor do you portray that character? Oh, so this is nothing. I have nothing to portray. I literally just stand there and recite lines like I'm a jury foreman.
Oh, it's so. Why are SJWs like this? Why are they doing this to us?
Because they're just evil. Leave us alone? Like, you go to the simplest. They're evil and they hate everyone. Everyone would have liked to see a Wonder Woman style. Who liked Wonder Woman? Freaking everyone liked Wonder Woman. Instead, they said, we want it to be like Wonder Woman, except for we want it to bother everyone. Because we're evil and we just hate people. We like when people are bothered. They especially like when someone is bothered and they know they can't say why because it'll get them destroyed.
That is true. That is excellently well put. That is fantastic. Yeah, like, what's the problem? What's the problem, incel? Go out and say it.
What's the problem? You hate black women? Do you hate black women? Yeah, we purposely made her unattractive in every single way. And then we gave her nothing to say, and we made her story not make any sense. But if you don't like it, there's only one possible answer. You hate black women.
Diversity in comics is fucking back. Oh my God, dude. You're blowing my mind. Change your channel back to diversity in comics right now. God damn, that's great. The chat is going nuts. The chat absolutely loves when Zach is DNC. That was phenomenal, a phenomenal assessment, and that's exactly what they do. The chat is going crazy, Zach. They're like, Zach is back. Zach is back. Fire. Yeah, this is what they do. They do everything that they do is intended to annoy, to irritate, to get under your skin, and to get you to complain in a way that then they can call you an incel, a racist, whatever, a bigot. But they're intentionally doing. I mean, look at her. Look at her face. Look at her haircut.
Also, do you think that the actress is happy?
In the role,
does this look like an actress who's enjoying their role?
No.
So Robert Downey Jr. enjoys his role. You can see it in his face. You can even tell in the scenes where he's heartbroken that he loves this role. Mm-hmm. This woman is miserable. She got cast in a Marvel movie. She's so happy. She probably didn't know anything about Marvel. Oh, Marvel, they're popular. She didn't read comics. She's like, oh, cool, I'm a fighter pilot. Wow. She doesn't do anything fighter pilot. She has some Yas Queen moment where they like, yeah, we're going to show them what women can do. And then she disappears from the movie for an hour. And then Carol Danvers goes into space. Like, there's nothing to enjoy here. These two women are miserable. So these SJWs are doing, yes, Queen, women, we love women. And then they make women miserable. Both of these actresses are miserable.
Yeah. Well, and I think the women who actually see this movie will be filled or would be filled with just a sense of existential dread. Like they couldn't put their finger on it. Nobody can put their finger on why this film is so unsettling, why this film is so uncanny and weird. But I mean, you just kind of did it. It was actually created to create those feelings in people, because that is what SJWs do. SJWs want you to be unhappy. They want you to be upset. They want you to be discontented, because they're malcontents. They want to spread that.
They're evil. It's the simplest things. These are evil. Hate-filled people. My buddy, I took my buddy. He actually said, "Stop bringing me up in the videos." I already started into the video, and it's a live stream. So he basically just stays at home all the time. And I was like, I got to see this because I got to do a review of it. But you're coming with me because I don't want to see this movie in the first place. He got up and leave. I thought he was going to the bathroom. He came back 40 minutes later. I was like, hey, man, are you okay? Like, you sick? He goes, no, not sick. Mm-hmm. He just went and hung out in the lobby for 40 minutes because he didn't want to be in the freaking theater.
By the way, Brie Larson wearing the 9 Inch Nails shirt. I'm so sure that this woman drives around with like, I want to you like an animal. So that's a Mary Sue article.
Yeah. Why the 9 Inch Nails t-shirt that Queen Carol Danvers wearing is totes problematic. Like that's the kind of airhead idiot article titles they have on this trash website.
They have another one, by the way. You want to look at this? We'll go back to this, but look at this. Gail Simone asked who our cartoon crushes are, and we delivered.
Queen Slay.
This is what.
By the way, they had Gail Simone at this Diamond Retailers Summit, and I was just thinking, because again, I'm watching this Star Trek motion picture, and it's very kind of military. Like everyone's getting ordered, and then when they don't do the orders, they get yelled at, and then they have to sullenly do the order. I can imagine this. They bring Gail Simone. They're like, and now we have Gail Simone. And they're like, because the whole thing about the retailer summit is you're trying to tell retailers, we're not trying to put you out of business. We're going to give you stuff you can sell. It's like, here's Gail Simone. Everyone's heard of her, right? And they're like, yeah. They're like, she's writing Domino. They're like, yeah. Every woman in America knows who Domino is. Even soccer moms who don't read comics, they all know who Domino is. They're like, yeah, she sold 16,000 copies. Mm. So as a promise to you, the retailer, we are never hiring her again. Gail, we are firing you in front of the retailers to show you who we value. We value them and not you and your stupid cat lady Twitter followers. You failed over and over again. There's a character that 300 million people know and they love from this Deadpool 2 movie, which was great. Actually, I thought it was okay, but it did great. Every soccer mom in the country knows Domino. You've been in the industry for 15 years. You sell 16,000 copies of a character people love. You are fired, and you are permanently fired. It's like in WWE where you lose a match and you're banned from the WD. Like, I want the president, not the EIC, the president. Who is the president? He's been the president forever. He's like
Dan
a corporate
Buckley?
guy.
No.
What is it?
Is it Dan Buckley?
Dan Buckley. Dan Buckley's like, I usually don't come to this events, but I came here special to fire Gail Simone and ban you from Marvel Comics forever because we care about you, the retailers.
Would it be a trapdoor or a catapult that they'd remove her from the stage?
I mean, it would be mean. Honestly, it would be mean. But you know what else is mean?
What?
To put retailers out of business by selling unsellable crap because you're so pleased with yourself and you are guaranteed that next assignment. Gail Simone does not care about the sales. She's guaranteed unlimited follow-up assignments.
Yeah. McKinney90, thanks for $10. The least desirable bodies with negative A cups, the most blandest, expressionless faces, and femininity erased. It feels weird seeing a book where women are drawn to look like women nowadays. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw Jawbreakers, but the women in there look like women. You know, even in Cyberfrog, the women look like women.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think there are any women in my comic.
It's because it's guys that kidnap Harrison Ford, right?
There's like a scene in a movie theater in the beginning, so I guess there are some, standby people, but whatever.
Yeah. All right, let's find out who the cartoon crushes were. Are you curious or do you not care?
I mean, no, I've read these. These are completely. So one of the things about Gail Simone sits on Twitter 18 hours a day. She almost never talks about a book. Like she'll announce it like the day it came out. My book came out today. She doesn't discuss writing it. She just does these terrible jokes, and then she'll get political, and then she'll get like fake friendly. Mm-hmm. Hey gals, tell me about your cartoon crush. Oh. And then she'll just blather about some other like this is the type of stupid airhead nonsense that puts stores out of business. This is supposedly a pop culture site. Talk about a TV show. Talk about this. This is worthless.
Yeah.
And I guarantee if the Mary Sue was ever on the chopping block and it had to give like a price point, in the real world, just like salon.com is like worth $500,000 when it came to sell it. This thing's worth $150,000.
Gail Simone is an extremely interesting person. She can write brilliant comic storylines, bring people together on Twitter, and then she can ask us her stupid question of the day and get it trending. Why the hashtag for today's particular question took off so quickly, though, is because Simone simply asked everyone to share those kissable faves.
Who talks like this?
What?
Kissable faves? Who talks like this? Nobody.
From when we were kids. Zach.
This is like when you had that person on your live stream yesterday, and they were talking Twitter talk to you, but you're a human, and you were talking later like, I don't know. This person just started talking Twitter talk and talking about true scum and 5 things. 4 of them are true. It's like, no, I'm a person.
Yeah,
we're having a conversation.
Like the internet.
Which one of these 5 things isn't true? Oh, because that's the thing that all the SJWs are doing on Twitter now.
Oh, are they doing like multiple choice?
Yeah, it just popped out of nowhere, and they're NPCs, so they got a software update. 5 concerts, but I've only gone to 4 of them. Oh gosh.
Oh my god.
So the one, oh okay. Oh, I'm not going to say that joke. I'll DM you that joke later.
All right, we've been editing ourselves tonight. All right, look at this. Kissable faves from when we were kids. I mean, what is the answer to that? Did you have sexual fantasies about cartoon characters ever? I mean, for goodness sakes.
Not from the Lion King.
What the you're exactly right. What the hell is this?
It's a lion. Never mind. How can you have feelings like that about a lion?
Well, we're talking about probably a good deal of furries, good percentage of furries involved with this, mostly. So now I don't feel as bad sharing that I had crushes on Prince Eric and Scar. Ooh, this person. Scar is the one I'd normally be made to feel bad about admitting, but it's 2019 and I don't feel bad about wanting to fucking animal. I blame Jeremy Irons. Prince Eric, though, glad he just translated to my real life human type. Cartoons, they get us. I can't.
When I don't know the rules of this series. Do I get a veto? Do I get to just opt us out and just go to the next article?
No.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
You have to suffer too.
Yeah. God, this is unbearable. These people are insufferable in every single way.
That's the perfect word, insufferable. And one of the things is, in real life, in classroom, in regular job situations, they've always been excluded because, social conventions exist to kick people like this out. And then they find Twitter, they find the Mary Sue, they find salon.com, and they find a way that you can't escape them. That every decision, that every movie is built around not displeasing these weirdos.
Zach,
these are the people who were booger eaters. And they grew up, and these are adult booger eaters.
By the way, diversity in comics is back big time. I mean, this is 2017, Zach. Listen, yesterday, I had that person on my show. Now, a lot of people said to me, Ethan, don't do that. Don't give these people airtime. I've said this over and over again. I have said that, the problem with the internet is that it takes away our animalistic ability to detect illness in the people that we're listening to. We're always seeing their words. Now, animals in the wild, they can go up like a baboon will sniff another baboon's rear end and go, oh my God, you have typhus. And they'll stay away from that baboon. Do baboons get typhus? I don't know. What is typhus?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's another thing of like real world versus internet. When you're in New York City, after you live there for about 1 week, you start to get this spider sense. And sometimes you can't even tell how you knew that person was going to be a weirdo. You just spotted him 100 feet through a crowd and you said, that guy's trouble.
Yeah.
And then you get onto your subway. You didn't make sure that he got onto another one. And then he's going apeshit and you go, how did I know? And it's little things, walking faster or slower than the rest of the crowd, having a jacket or on that, or, having dressing warmer or colder than makes sense. And so that is the thing. They can start. One of the things is when they do these NPC, spiels, is you can get all the way deep into a conversation before they reveal themselves. You're like, oh, you're a crazy person.
Yeah.
You just started talking about representation and marginalization, and you used all these words, and it's like, oh, I'm having a conversation. It's like, oh no, I'm a crazy person. Yeah. And now the train has left the station, on the New York City subways, you're not supposed to, go from car to car when in motion. It's like, yeah. And I'm pissing. Yep. I'm pissing. And you're stuck with me until the next stop.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, so the internet, they take away your ability to. I mean, if you saw any of these people in a supermarket, you'd never make eye contact. You'd skip the aisle that they were in, even if that's what you needed. Even if you really, really needed Kool-Aid sip-ups, and they're in that aisle.
Just having this conversation earlier. My buddy's into Coheed and Cambria, and I've never seen what the lead singer looked like. Mm-hmm. And then I saw him, and he gives off vibes like something's wrong with him. And I said, this is the guy that when I need, English muffins and I turn to the bread aisle, I see him 60 feet away and I go, nah, I'm just going to go 2 aisles over and I'm going to wait for him to come out.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that. The point of the story is this. It's not this one particular person. This one particular person is not unique. Okay. The person who came on my stream. There are lots of people like this, and they're all barking at you and calling you a Nazi on Twitter right now. Now, because you can't see their faces and because you can't actually, all you're seeing are their words, you don't have that same ability to suss out if their words mean anything. If these people are people that you should listen to or not listen to. Every SJW, every single SJW, no matter what kind of person they are, should be ignored. And you would know to ignore them if they were talking to you and saying these things to you right to your face. But the internet actually removes that physical, animalistic, and much needed, necessary contact.
Instinctual.
It's instinctual. Exactly. You don't know to actually just walk away or run or go to the other side.
As soon as I saw that sneer on that person's face, I dipped out. You asked me how long did I last in this stream? 1 second.
1 second.
Whatever part of your brain does instinctual reactions just said nope.
Well, this person was calling a lot of comic skaters names on Twitter, and comic
Were they
skaters
sneering at you the entire time?
the
Because
dude, family members were emailing me and going, "What the hell? Like, why are these people also patronizing towards you?"
and they're complete failures in life. Like complete failures.
That's what SJWs do. That's what they are. They need to.
Can you imagine? I don't want to get to getting you in trouble or type of thing, but can you imagine getting on these popular characters that billions of people know James Bond? Can you imagine getting on one of them and selling 5,000 copies? Like, why wouldn't you be utterly humiliated? They're never embarrassed at their failure. They're proud of them.
Yeah, but Zach, you know what the problem is that, even though on Twitter, okay, or even though on social media, you cannot suss out the craziness of these people, you can definitely suss it out in their comics. There's something about it. There's just something about the way they're aesthetic. There's something about the way their comics look on the stands. There's something about the work that they produce that it has. People have the same animalistic. Nope, I'm not buying that. Nope, I'm not interacting with that. Same kind of reaction to their comics.
There's a sickness here. Detecting sickness is the first thing that any species needs to do.
Yeah. Well, you have to for your survival, for your own survival. You have to be able to tell if this person is sick and if you need to keep a distance. But again, as I said on that stream, I said, look, the internet is horrible. It's horrible for people. It's dangerous for people for all of these reasons and more. But I mean,
by the way, sorry for interrupting, but I'm actually having fun. No, we're not talking about Game of Thrones. Have you noticed something about sci-fi? Even now that social media exists, it's not in sci-fi.
Yeah.
This is a phase we're going through. In 5 years, in 10 years, it's just going to be this weird pet rock thing. Remember when we listened to Psychopaths? Remember when pants shitting like crazy people got to decide plot lines in movies? They got to decide who gets hired and doesn't get hired. Like these people, you even said, the person said, I can't even afford the books that pandered to me.
Right. Yeah, but there should be more of them.
But won't it be too late for certain things and people will have turned away from those properties indefinitely or forever?
Well, there's a whole new group of people who presumably would be discovering James Bond or G.I. Joe or whatever it is for the first time, who go, well, this isn't for me. And
they lost an entire generation of G.I. Joe fans. That was like a thing. You were a boy, you grew up, you had G.I. Joe, and now G.I. Joe is the Aubrey Sitterson thing. And then when he went away, it just, they always, I've just realized for like 10 years, they always had 2 G.I. Joe series, and now they just have 1, right?
That's all there needs to be, and there doesn't even need to be.
This is a franchise that billions of people know, and there's 1 book that sells 5,000.
Any of these things could be good. I mean, any of these.
Insanity.
Yeah. James Ritter, thanks for $10. People like SJWs have a great empty hole through the middle of them. They can never destroy enough, ruin enough, or inflict enough pain to ever feel it. They need revenge for being born. Watch Tombstone. That's something that Zach always used to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a brilliantly written movie. And I have one thing to ask you about Tombstone, because it's always bothered me.
Yeah.
Where is the martial arts expert woman gunfighter who beats all of the male bad guys?
Amazingly,
that ruined Tombstone for me every time I've ever watched it.
Ruined it for all women too. Women really felt they didn't feel represented.
By the way, they actually did that. They did The Quick and the Dead with Sharon Stone, and that flopped and fell down the memory hole.
It felt weird. Yeah, it felt weird. I remember when that movie came out. I mean, it just felt like wrong. And it did feel kind of like proto SJW.
And it was, they had, what's his name? Stuart Little? What is that Australian guy who hit someone with a phone?
Crocodile Dundee?
He was like the wimp damsel in distress.
So typical. It was proto SJW. That's interesting.
Yeah. And it was done like, oh God, it had Leonardo DiCaprio in it.
Yeah, it did. It should have been.
It had all of these stars, and it just fell because everyone was like, just as your brain goes, that person is sick. So a part of your brain goes, there's a reason there wasn't female gunfighters. And when you make a whole video about one, and it wasn't just she was a female gunfighter. She was wearing pants. She was acting. It was a male role. It was very clearly a male role. And then they're like, we're going to subvert expectations. Is like, I'm going to subvert your box office. This is going to flop.
Well, you could do that once or twice. Look, gender swapping works sometimes when it's a gimmick. Like, look at Michael Keaton and Mr. Mom. And by the way, that is the only movie that I actually do want to see gender swapped. I think
Mrs. Mom.
I think that would work out pretty well. But yeah, like it works sometimes, but it doesn't work all the time. And now it's all the time. Everything is gender swapped now, which is why we desperately need Rainbow Brute. I'm going to read some super chats now.
So I want to talk about Rainbow Brute. You can't just.
We'll get
super chats. Yeah, super chats always take priority.
Let me catch up here. Bjorn says rubber bumper babysitting service. Walking Tin Can says thank you for the countless hours of entertainment. EVS. I just backed Cyberfrog. 7 figures, young lady. Wow. Well, thank you. I don't know if we're going to get to 7 figures. We're about $120,000 away from 7 figures. It's possible. I was going to take it down today. And then somebody said, "What are you, nuts?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll leave it up another month."
I think maybe another campaign.
No.
Put some trading cards in there. Put some, I don't know, poster.
No, I'll just leave it. I think once people see it, like it's at the printer now. Here it comes. I think I might be able to get a burst.
Speaking of that,
yeah.
Are you going to do, because this is, I screwed myself on this one. I make all these mistakes and you never even caught me on this one. One of the things that when you get a printing quote is they will give you what you want and then they will say, for another 1,000, it's this many per unit. And it's always a great freaking price.
Yeah.
The thing about the printers is the money is to start the printer up. It's not to keep the printer going. An extra 1,000 books is like freaking nothing to them.
Right.
So are you going to keep, when you get the final tally, which is going to be what, like 16,000 books?
I'm printing 20 and I might print more.
So you instinctively knew the thing that I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
You print an extra couple thousand and then you keep it open and you will get once it gets out there, because that spurs up. As soon as I close a campaign, all of my comments in the next 10 days are, "Hey, I wanted to buy your book. How do I buy it?" It's like, I closed it.
Yeah.
So you are going to be able to get to 7 figures. It's just going to take the book coming out, the people seeing it and saying, "Wow, this looks great," and then they're like, "Is it in demand a store?" And yeah, by the end of the summer, you're going to be at $1 million.
I'm printing an extra case of each of the Chromium books just for me to keep. So I'll have like 100 copies of each of those books in my basement. And then I'm just gonna print like, I don't even
in
know.
Your basement, Ethan.
In my basement. That's where I work. That's where I actually do all my work.
They're obsessed with that. It's your basement. It's your basement.
Yeah.
Okay. It's my basement.
But it's not.
You should be like,
basement.
"Yeah, I'm rich. It's my basement. It's a nice house. It's a nice basement." In your basement, Ethan. In your basement.
Yeah. Everybody's asking about Cyberfrog. Cyberfrog's finished, guys. It's all done. Cyberfrog is finished.
What?
It's finished.
Why are you talking to me about Game of Thrones? Why wasn't that the live stream?
Because this is I did that live stream last night. That's what
I don't remember you talking that was the end of.
That's it. That's the end of Cyberfrog.
I was in that live stream. You should have literally live streamed, like putting the last little whatever, you drawing the finger on the last hand.
I thought about it and I realized, I didn't think about just doing the last.
Finish the book, Ethan.
Yeah.
Battle codes or whatever.
Yeah. I didn't think about just doing the last stroke. I probably should have done that, but there were I was going and I thought I'd turn on my camera and I'm not going to draw and try to talk to people. It's
that's
boring.
death. You did that the other day. It was awful.
Yeah, I can't do it. So I'm not going to do that. So anyway, the book is finished and, hooray, everyone. It's going to press. They sent me over the trading cards today. They sent me over the what the trading cards are going to look like. They're getting foil wrapped, like Doug to Naples did. So they're basically going to look like a pack of foil wrapped cards, but they're just 2 cards in there, and they're going to be unique prototypes for the trading card set that we're doing. Now, I'm so awkward talking about this stuff when it's not.
I'm already confused. I don't know.
All right. So here's what we're doing. We are doing the next. All right. The next campaign that I'm running, Zach, is actually the Vampirella cover. So I'm finishing the Vampirella cover, getting it colored, and we're launching that's going to drive the SJWs crazy. If we can get that Vampirella cover to do really, really well, I want to do 4 of them. But we're going to do one of them first, and then we're going to launch the Cyberfrog trading cards.
Wait. I'm already confused.
Okay.
You're going to do 1, and if it's good, you're going to do 3 more?
Yeah. I'm
Will
going to
this
do
be other Dynamite books or 3 other
No.
Vampirella?
Okay, so Dynamite did a book called Vampirella Meets the Reanimator. Okay, so if you remember the Reanimator movie from the 1980s,
yeah, I got scared, but I watched it. It was scary. The guy's got a head like in a little basin and starts talking.
Yeah. Love that movie. Love the Reanimator. Dynamite owns the Reanimator. So I said, well, they put the book out, Zach, and if you look at the sales for this thing, Vampirella versus the Reanimator sold like 56,000 or 100 copies. Like, it didn't sell.
Wait, 56 or 1,000?
5,600 copies. It didn't sell. So what? But it's good. I read it. I have all 4 issues, and it's good.
Who wrote and drew it?
I don't know who the artist is. I don't remember who wrote. I'm not going to tell you who wrote it because it's one of your super talent boys. You want to take a guess?
Tim Seeley.
No.
Oh, Cullen Bunn.
Yeah. Okay.
Cullen Bunn is no longer super talent boy. He did this Punk Mambo, and it's actually good.
I've always liked Cullen Bunn, so I have no problem
with it. I think
it
was the influence of Marvel. Marvel is a complete shit show. I'm wondering just Jonathan Hickman, because he's a rock star. You don't get to tell him what to do, but they're going to screw it up. It's going to be Power of X, and what is it? Family of X is the other one.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be like Power of X Babies. And it's going to be, it's like Age of, and like they're going to screw it up and have 20 spinoffs, and he's going to probably rage quit and say, F you guys.
Okay. Well, in any case, there are these 4 issues of Vampirella Reanimator. Now, everything that I do, I want to prove a point. So much of what Comicsgate is right now, like my new angle in Comicsgate, is to show the mainstream the power of Comicsgate. As the mainstream continues to fail, what we need to do is constantly demonstrate our strength, our flex power, our ability to sell comics when they can.
Tweet you did earlier about your Cyberfrog just this latest campaign.
Yeah.
Outsold what? Batman and Wonder Woman?
Everything. It outsold everything except for one image book. So Cyberfrog has sold this 3rd cover, the cover that's available right now. We have sold 4,035 copies of just that.
I gotta tell you, I didn't expect this. I thought 1,000 because I thought the well was dry.
No. Comicsgate is huge and it's growing, and people need to understand this is it's a graphic novel. So you put it up against other graphic novels, and just this 3rd variant cover, if it had come out through the direct market in April, it would have been the number 2, just missed number 1 by a skosh. Number 2 best-selling graphic novel in April. That's
awesome, because I was doing my thing where I was showing Jawbreakers, and I was saying Jawbreakers as compared to this, and then people were deflating me. They're like, well, you sold that over 2 months. I was just showing my 2-month figures. Your 2-month figures, and these are 1-month figures. So yours is a 1-month figure.
Yeah.
So this is A to A.
Yeah.
Apple to Apple.
Yeah, so exactly. And look, we outsold Batman, we outsold Star Wars, we outsold Cyberfrog. It is the number 1 crowdfunded comic. It's just not even debatable. So this is pretty big. So what we need to do is just show them over and over again. So my plan is this, Zach, with regards to Vampirella. So I'm going to recover the Vampirella Reanimator series and I'm going to add Cyberfrog. So Cyberfrog variant covers for this 4-issue miniseries. And I want to see if we can bump those numbers up, the sales on this book. Just because.
Okay, so let me reiterate, because I'm dumb, and if I'm dumb, other people are dumb, and then if you explain it to me, they'll explain it.
Okay.
Vampirella, is it versus Reanimator or and Reanimator?
And the Reanimator.
It's a 4-issue miniseries.
Yes.
You're going to do a variant cover for issue 1.
Right.
And then if that does good, you'll do variant covers for the
2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your And then the interiors are the miniseries that came out, and let's be kind, undersold for its quality.
Correct.
So what you're doing is you're making money, but you're representing something that would have fallen down the memory hole because these things, they're periodicals. It comes off the shelf in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to sell, I mean, I don't know what it's, I predicted something and then I kind of dialed it back because I have no idea.
Yeah.
But if you can sell not just your cover, but also the interior story, you're helping everyone.
That's right. That's right. So let me include Jeff in this. Jeff, do you understand what's going on? Jeff is hiding at this point. Are you with us?
I'm here.
Jeff did 800,000 views on a Captain Marvel video. He's probably just counting his money at this point.
I got videos with
what does it feel like when you have 800,000 views? That's a city. That's San Francisco.
Dude, my other one's got 2 million views on it. That's not a big deal to me.
It would be a very big deal to me. I think I have 500,000 on one, but it took like 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it in like a week.
Yeah, dude, Cecil had freaking 300,000. That's Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah. I never look at it like that, but yeah, it is a lot.
2 million is what? Is that LA? Is 2 million LA or Dallas?
No, it's please. You're like 15 million, 30 million people in LA. I mean, that's
just LA, not everything, just LA.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is when you look at those numbers, you have to think about what it would be like to actually make your video at a microphone in front of a football stadium full of people, because that's what you're doing, and more, obviously, way more than that.
Dude, and they hate YouTube so much. SJWs hate YouTube.
Yeah.
They don't just want to take us down. They want to take down all of YouTube. If they could do that, they do that. Because one of the things about YouTube is it's just like that thing. If you're a complete freak show weirdo and you don't have human emotions, you can write a script for a couple of videos, but after, your second week, it's going to come out, oh, this guy's a complete freak show. That's why SJWs, they never start YouTube channels, ever.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I was saying before, that's why you bring on an anti-comic skater who's attacking people and calling them Nazis. Let me come onto my channel and I'm going to show you. We're going to have a conversation. And first of all, you're going to realize that we're nice people. But second of all, the people who have had their feelings hurt by what you're saying to them on Twitter are going to get a look at you, and they're going to realize that it's like there's no reason to have your feelings hurt. Putting it kindly. All right, let me read these super chats. So Geek Talk Society says just about to head to bed and the stream starts. David Sutherland says thank you for your music. Mr. Melange says, can we get Cyberfrog to in the next book? No, he would never. Logan Michael Anti-Funko Pop says, watch Batman and Robin 10 times or The Last Jedi once.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, 10 times, dude, though.
Batman and Robin has a good opening scene. The first 20 minutes of it are actually pretty solid.
Yeah, I guess I would. I've seen The Last Jedi 3 times, and it really hurt me for like a weekend. I was angry for like a weekend. So I'll say Batman and Robin. Geek Talk Society says, I broke 500 subs, Jeff. Rise for the Fandom Menace.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Laura Ryan Stole My Fanfiction Story says, happy High Council Day. Thank you for the entertainment. Johnson says, AOC is Congress's first reality show contestant. That's so true. Thunder Robot says, got water bottle, Starbucks cup. Bill and Ted is there. Oh, wow. Bill and Ted 3 is coming out. Rhino 4563.
Is it really, though? They've been saying that for 20 years.
No, they're in production now. I mean, they've been saying Ghostbusters 3.
They've been saying the same thing for all these movies. Have they started filming?
I don't know. I've seen so many articles where they're actually together, though, and I really do think it's happening this time. I'm sure it is.
It just looks like they just met, like at the park, like they're like, "Hey, what's up?" We're both here.
Well, one of them needs it more than the other one does,
Yeah, Keanu Reeves hasn't done anything.
By the way, how much like single white female passive aggressive hatred has got to be going between those two?
Yeah.
I know that's mean, but Alex Winter is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
his whole life has been waiting for this third movie.
Is it the same thing with Jay and Silent Bob too, or no?
What do you mean?
They already did that. Wait, did they? No, they did Clerks too.
No, I'm just saying that Kevin Smith is clearly like, the heavy, so to speak, the heavyweight, and then Jay is.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been in a whole bunch of shit outside of him, but I mean, Kevin Smith is the one. Well, remember, Jason Mewes was a bad drug addict and blew all his money. So
yeah, it's basically, friends. If I became a drug addict, you'd probably start sharing super chats with me. Hey, we're doing the super chat. Help them out.
Yeah, of course.
That's what it's for. It's a lifelong friend, and every 5 years he's going to give him a payday.
Yeah. Party on Sylvie says people pump gas for you back east. Pfft, weirdos. I don't disagree. Red Gaze says appreciate the Twitter shout out, EVS. Very helpful. This panel is awesome. Super pumped for Cyberfrog. AOC is prototype AI placed in a wax body.
No, there's no intelligence. There's no artificial intelligence.
By the way, that was a lot in one single super chat. You got like 3 different thoughts out. That was great.
Yeah.
Richard Wetfist, thanks for $2. Toe Cutter checks your mama's oil at New Jersey Gas. Party on Sylvia again says Lucas and Filoni, cautious optimism. It is. I know. Everyone is kind of feeling pretty good about it.
I'm not cautious at all. That's going to be freaking amazing.
Mike Jenkins says, Zach, ever see the Spike TV Blade? Very good.
I'm looking for it. I just did all the Blade movies, and I looked for it. I couldn't find it. I only do things legally, so I don't do pirate stuff. But I'm sure there's got to be some way to buy it on Hulu. It's
on DVD. Just a heads up about that show. The main villain is named Martin Van Sciver. He's named for me. Jeff Johns named a lot of villains after me and my family. Marcus Van Sciver, and then of course
that's the only thing saving his career right now. You're friends with Ethan Van Sciver, huh? That's problematic. Oh no, I was the one warning you.
I named him. Yeah, I named like all the worst villains for him. Van Sciver, and then also Hunter Zolomon, my son, is Reverse Flash. So that's another interesting thing. He was just a baby when Jeff named his villain after my son. Mike Jenkins says, Zach.
We all know the real villain is named Ethan.
Yes.
Van Sciver.
Literally Hitler.
Dude, can we do a little sidebar on that?
Yeah, sure.
So, if anyone, I'm friends with people that don't like you. That's my whole life, is I'm friends with people who don't like the other person. But if my friends who don't like you, they just don't like you, and then they move on with their life. If anyone talks about you like you're any kind of evil or threat, just flat out, they're mentally ill. There are people, their whole life is talking about you. And that's a sign of mental illness. Like it's serious. It's mental illness. People talk about you. Oh, we're going to do this to him. What? Why? Go find, a ISIS member and obsessed with taking them down. Like, it's mentally ill. I've attracted a couple mentally ill people over the years. And things are getting better, but having a hatred of you that's beyond just like, I don't like that guy, he's a jerk, and then, hey, did you see John Wick 3? If they have more than a one sentence, I don't like Ethan, you're mentally ill. Those people are mentally ill.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I think I'm pretty swell. I don't understand people who don't like me, and I never will.
You've got a strong personality, and that's always going to lead to have people having strong takes on you. That's fine. You have a distinct personality.
Okay.
But I've just seen it so many times, and it's like people become obsessed with you, and we're going to take him down. Like, what? He's a guy. Like, no. What? You're crazy. Stop being mentally ill.
Take me down. What would that look like? Taking me down. All right, look, Clinging to Mars says, I would pay money for DNC Star Trek videos. So people want you to make Star Trek videos. You kind of do.
I do. So I have this channel, Splato Delgato. It makes me no money, and I love it. I have so much fun doing these videos. I make $90 a month off of that channel.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. Alan Walker says, love my copies of Iron Sights and Jawbreakers. Can't wait for Cyberfrog Blood Honey. You guys do amazing work. Stopped reading comics for a while due to the SJW trash that flooded the market. Hi, Alan. Well, looking forward to hearing your reaction to Cyberfrog, and thanks very much for the support. We agree with you. Richard Webfist says, in Star Trek The Motion Picture, Kirk told the viewer to turn off because it had just shown a live feed of thousands of people getting killed. Jason Green says, what exactly does someone's sexuality have to do with a character? Great storytelling and directing should be a priority above all else. SJWs just want to see characters that validate who they are, that look like them.
No, they want to use these groups to trick you into saying you don't like a poorly written character and then call you homophobe. Everything is always based around destroying someone.
You don't think they actually truly want transgendered characters?
No, they don't care at all. No, they don't care at all. The whole point is to put it there, write it poorly, direct it poorly, and then when you say, "What is this new transgender, crew member on the Enterprise? This character sucked." Oh, you hate trans people, do you?
Yeah. Absolutely true. All right. Richard West says Peter Parker in the MCU is Adam Rich in Code Red. Logan Michael, anti Funko Pop, says X-Men Origins Wolverine is underrated. Admiral Tiberius says, hail the very highest of councils, the Cerberus who guards the world of pop culture, and hail to the guest council member, Zach. Bless you all.
Hey, so about Wolverine Origins. So it came out when I was in Afghanistan, and we used to get, when people come back from, mid-tour leave, they would come back with bootlegs. And there, Wolverine Origins, I got to see a bootleg that was an original cut before they did the release cut. And the original cut was actually good. Like, it had different line readings, it had different ad libs, it had different music. It was good. I watched that bootleg of Wolverine Origins a million times, and then I saw the release version. I was like, "Oh, what is this?"
I saw an early. Wait, was that the one with Deadpool in it?
I don't remember, but I remember a lot of the jokes were more raw and they were more politically incorrect. And I believe they had some temporary music from like Saving Private Ryan put in there. And then they took out more of the raw jokes but that original version was awesome.
Yeah. All right. So JW3 was absolutely fantastic, says Admiral Tiberius. One of the best movies I've seen as of late. I love all the world building they do in every installment. Well-read user says, you'll be the last creator in Comicsgate making money because of your humility. Several Comicsgaters are getting caught up in their ego and it will cost them backers. Yeah, but
Who is that directed to?
Me, I think. Because
can I do a sidebar on that as well?
Sure.
So I think that's a reference to me in that there was a Facebook group that I asked for a minor change, and then it grew into some pretty silly conspiracy theory that you told me to distance myself from the Facebook group for my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Were you even aware that I had a Facebook group for my YouTube channel?
No.
We've never discussed this ever. It was a very simple thing. I asked them to take the word unofficial out for a couple reasons. I did a post on my community page, and then it became this whole thing. I absolutely love my fans. I love the people that would frequent that channel. It was just a real basic, boring thing that it said official, but it wasn't official, and I was getting blamed for things and asked to referee things, and people thought I was an admin. They thought I was a mod. I just asked for something simple, and it turned into some. Then it looks like some of the mods there actually did try to do the heel turn. Now we hate you type of thing. But absolutely, definitely want all the people who backed my books. I want the people who went to the page. It just looks like some mod drama.
Yeah, they're not. They're saying they're not. This guy wasn't referring to you. He's referring to Doug TenNapel, like as being somebody who is caught up in their ego. Not you at all. I don't think anybody thinks that you're caught up in your ego. Yeah, a lot of people think that I'm doing stuff that I'm not doing. I mean,
well, again, that gets into this you as a supernatural evil. If people are like, this is the same thing you say as an insult, but if you're angry at Ethan Van Sciver for more than a day, honestly, you probably need to see a psychiatrist. Like, there's this whole cult of people obsessed with you, and it's really sick.
Yeah, it is weird, man. I'm like, what did I and when I think about it, I go, well, I just made a lot of money. That's what it is. Yeah,
that's probably a big one of it. I mean, yeah. Oh boy, I can't wait after the stream. I'm doing that unionized comics. Oh, that one's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah. The unionized comics thing. Okay, hold on. We'll get to that.
Oh my gosh.
Jeremy, these are the audience's movies. What about The Last Jedi? Ian Aldridge says, are comic books the first stage of propaganda? Logan Michael Anti-Funko Pop says, my sister likes Brie Larson, shaking my head. Non-Vitae Rex says, my niece talks more about the cat than Captain Marvel. Party on Sylvie says, moderately wide hips aren't perfect. Is Ethan gay?
Yeah, I was firmly on the no problem with the hips, but you know what I did notice? They did this kind of neo-Taliban thing where like the sash from Valkyrie was hiding most of Captain Marvel's body. That's a very, very conscious artistic decision to do that.
I like all women. I do. I like all women. It's just that.
Except for the ones you hate.
Yeah, except for Brie Larson. No, I mean the way women look.
Which is all of them.
The way women look. I mean, but like it's not ideal. Like the current shape where it's like little on top and big on the bottom isn't ideal. It's not what I would choose if there were a choice of perfect woman. Kind of like it the other way around. All women are
perfect, Ethan. I like how you have a name that goes perfectly with a lisp.
Ethan Skyver.
It's unlispable. It already has a lisp built into it.
It's got one S in it. It's just one Ethan Van Skyver. It's the only way to lisp my name.
No, Ethan. It's Ethan has a lisp built into the word.
The TH lisp.
Ethan.
Yeah. Michael Montgomery says it's like reverse virtue signaling. And JDC says, Zach, stop posting about Wade. It can only hurt your case. You're winning and everybody knows it. Stay frosty. So he wants you to stop talking about Wade. Matt Wanger says sexy women are in super harem. Back it on Indiegogo. Metal Movies and Brewski says pick up Butch Cleaver comic, a horror western, Rune Cutter Comics Facebook store. Lancer 737 says Marvel shouldn't make all woman team, as only My Little Pony gets it right. Half of the main 6 are heroes, are men. Women from other series just hates men. Scotsky02 says, extremely interesting. Me, dry heaves in a corner. Greg Rivera says, indie filmmaker here sees a need for Filmgate. Yeah, well, that's thoroughly. Hollywood, just give it up. I mean, Hollywood is just gone. Greg Browen says, High Council Dark Roast. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's see. Admiral Tiberius, our society is very comfortable, mostly safe, so it's bred weakness. SJWs could never survive 100 years, let alone 1,000 years ago. Billy Ritchie says, EVS, you see Justice League versus Fatal 5 since it has Jessica Cruz. Does that mean you get a royalty check for that? No, I do not. And I fought for Jessica Cruz. Now, I have a credit. I did create Jessica Cruz. And DC Comics has a thing where they go, yeah, but she's Green Lantern. And she is like, otherwise anybody could come in and go, yeah, this is Bob Jones, Green Lantern. And then have a piece of a Green Lantern. So because she's derivative of Green Lantern,
derivative work. Yeah, that's pretty standard boilerplate.
I don't own her, but they cut me a check for $5,000. Told me to, there you go. Does that make you feel better? I said, well, for now, but it's not gonna make me feel better when she's in a movie like Justice League versus the Fatal 5. And that's how I feel right now. Jorgamondo7 says the term you're looking for when you can't do the animalistic judging of people based on their face online is disintermediation. Disintermediation. That's hard to say, but that's a great word to know.
Black is that English, a real word?
Yeah. Apparently, disintermediation.
Yeah, I think that's closer. Disintermediation. I can kind of guess that means that you're basically your brain is judging that person, then someone's like, no, you can't judge them.
Yeah. Black Angus Review says, wow, both getting your boy as a temp, Jeremy, not bad. LOL, check out episode 1 of casting the FM in Game of Thrones. The EVS episode, your boy, is the first casting. Enjoy. John Doe says, if these people didn't have their jobs, they'd be on the street shuffling up and down a basketball court at 11 in the morning while trying to give a TED Talk to a flock of pigeons. Insufferable. Well put. Hikaru says, Ethan. Hey, Ethan, finish the book, Ethan. Thank you. Stone Cold Jeremy says, hail to the High Council. Here's some super chat money just because you guys are awesome. Can't wait to get my copy of Cyberfrog. Frank, thanks for $10, says, please check out my illustrated epic fantasy novel on Indiegogo called Epics of Eternity. It's like Game of Thrones, but set thousands of years after the apocalypse, but with no forced subversion. Ty Gorton says, product request. I would like a Cyberfrog-inspired glove designed specifically for SJW dual challenge slapping. Thank you in advance. Nice. John Whalen says, make a perk for a case of Chrome Cyberfrogs dog. I can't. It's too late. Those are closed. But
Do you know what dual challenge slapping is?
Yeah. That's when I say, "Sir," and I take off my glove and smack you and say, "You have insulted my honor. I demand a duel."
No. It's a sport in Russia, of course, and it's almost like professional arm wrestling, but it's slapping. You go both put your hands on this kind of pedestal, and then you take turns slapping each other as hard as you can with some rules.
Okay,
it's great because it's the most anti-SJW thing. It's toxic masculinity, which of course is not toxic. It's just masculinity. But one of the things I love about it is it's like the old school, like bro interaction. Bro, I'm going to slap you, but I'm not going to hurt you. Like the ear is right there. You're supposed to avoid the ear. Whenever they hit the ear, you saw like this instant regret. Like, bro, I was just trying to slap you with all of my strength, not actually hurt you. So it's one of those things. I was watching one, I was fascinated. It's this big fat guy against a muscular guy, and the fat guy was winning because he's got all the weight and the mass and momentum. But it wasn't what you thought it was. It was something slightly different.
Okay, so all right. Well, I mean, now it seems more relevant. Now I should actually do it. Richard Wetfist says, Jeff, you should do a stream later. Jeff kind of gets quiet when it's not his job to do the show.
What do you want me to say? I was letting you guys talk.
I know, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Ed, I'm here.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Nate Keeney says AOC comic shit, front place in local comic store. Paul Godin says, what do you guys think about AOC's comic getting a cease and desist over the Wonder Woman infringement? I think it's funny. Did you see that, Jeff?
I did. I laughed. You see the book's going for $16,000 on eBay?
Holy shit. Did it get that high?
Yeah, that's what somebody posted a screenshot on some Facebook page I'm on.
Oh my
God.
God.
So that one was, they did multiple covers, and then they did one that only had 250, and it's the one with Wonder Woman. And that one is actually legally, it's supposed to be returned to DC. It wasn't just a cease and desist. It was basically a find and return. Devil's Due is supposed to locate those. And now, of course, they're going to say, oh, we can't find it. But it would be funny if DC just played hardball. Because there's a theory that they were basically doing cease and desist, like dancing with a bowl. What do you call it? What is that called? The thing with the bowl?
With the bowl?
You wave the cape in front of the bowl?
Fighting.
Bull fighting. Basically, they're like, oh, well, when we get the cease and desist, we can just say, oh, it already went out. So they're saying they did it for promotional reasons. I saw a couple pages of the book, and it was just god awful. Like, it was just horrible.
Yeah, I have to agree. Piece of pure garbage. But I mean, you got to imagine what those people are being paid to produce that book.
It's probably going to turn a profit. There's a thing with indies. Antarctic does the same thing where they do these political parody books, but it's really just, I like this person, so I'm going to buy it, or I don't like them, so I'm going to buy it. And I don't know. It's just the whole political parody subgenre in comics is like the stupidest waste of time ever.
I do agree. And it's not.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's literally like, and the companies that do it, this is kind of mean, but it's a sad sack thing to do.
I agree, because I mean, it's LCD. You're seeking lowest common denominator.
Oh, we got a blurb in salon.com. Wow. It's like, pathetic. Come on.
It doesn't mean anything. It's not how to sell comics. K Brady said, well-read user said, it's not a reference to you, Zach. PL will be unnamed. K Brady says, remake Greatest American Hero or no? By the way, Jawbreakers was excellent.
Thanks.
Yeah, you could do it. Greatest American Hero, you'd need somebody really charming and kind of charismatic in a goofy kind of way. And I don't know how you'd find another one of those guys.
What are they talking about? Like rebooting as a live action series?
Well, remaking The Greatest American Hero as a TV show, potentially. I mean, it's a good idea.
Honestly, I remember the show, and it's not as great as people remember. Well, it had a great premise and it had a great pilot, but then they just did and then there was like this whole Welcome Back Kotter aspect to it.
In the pilot, yeah.
It was dumb.
Yeah, it was a stand and deliver type of thing where It's like he walks into the worst school in the world, and then they're not really that bad. They're good kids, except they're in their 30s.
But it's like they throw spitballs. They're like gang members who throw spitballs.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, have him get shot and he's bleeding out, and he doesn't know how the healing factor on his suit works.
See, let's do it. Let's go. Who has the license for the Greatest American Hero comic book? Because that would actually be cool. You know, I mean, it's a good idea. The comic is a good idea, or the concept is good. Richard Weffis says, please put a mirror under Jeff's nose. A lot of people think Jeff is dead, but he's not. He's not dead. He's chilling. He's chilling. Jason Green says, tell Jeff that if he opens my gift, I'll leave him alone. Only kidding, Jeff.
Oh yeah, he said a giant box. It's in the trunk of my car. So
what do you think is in it?
It's giant, and it was like $75 to ship it to me. So I'm dying to see what it is. But I gotta some of the shit's in my other car, so I gotta open it all at once. So I'm trying to wait to get the other car back.
Yeah. Diversity and Cecil says Zach would put a baby in AOC in 20 minutes. That's pretty good. That's a reasonable amount of time. Cecil, if you want to come in, I sent you the link in your Twitter, so you can come in anytime you want. Mexi Man and Cheese says, please look up Babylon B. AOC comic needs to be real. Babylon B. AOC comic.
Babylon B is a parody website.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I honestly I cannot tolerate politics lately. I've tuned completely out. I'm 100% involved with Cyberfrog Comicsgate, and that's about, and Star Wars and stuff. I don't pay attention. I don't watch Fox News. I don't know what's going on. Every now and then I'll see something about AOC, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'll see you in 2020. I'll tune back in 2020, but I'm not following politics until the election. Richard Weffis says 18 of those minutes would be the cab ride over. Zach, do you think AOC is attractive?
Yes, very.
What about you, Jeff?
She's all right.
Yeah, I like her when she's dancing, but I guess I like everyone when they're dancing.
I hate that video. I keep seeing it pop up on my Facebook feed all the time.
Why do you hate it?
They just put like different songs over the top of it. I'm like, okay, I guess because I've seen it so many times.
No. Chicken Sith says Greatest American Hero wasn't good, says a guy with Zach's taste in TV and film. Zach's got good taste in TV. You're right about the movies. He's a little bit merciful. When Zach was saying I liked Solo, I was like, oh my God, dude.
Why did you invite him here?
Darth Vader's disembodied charred phallus says day 128. What a great name. Darth Vader's disembodied charred phallus. We talked about the penislessness of Vader couple of weeks ago.
I don't see it being disembodied. I just feel like it was completely eaten up by the fire.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly, it's gone.
Yeah. Day 128 on the shores of Mustafar, a clone trooper tried to
if it did exist, the Emperor would have located it, and it would have been used as a motivation for Vader.
That's, you know what? I've told this story before. I told the story to make Mike.
We've repaired it, Lord Vader.
here's your penis back.
But it would always be like it would be like Lucy in the football.
Yeah.
The Emperor would promise he's going to give it back. He's like, but there would always be a little trick. If you get the Shabadoo system back within our grasp, and then he would get it back in the grasp. And then Emperor would blow it up with the Death Star. He's like, whoops, you didn't read the fine print.
He'd always be, I'm just after my penis. That's all I want.
Dude, that is the freaking Game of Thrones. That's the new trilogy.
I probably not, but I think it would actually be entertaining for people. But anyway, this guy suggested a clone trooper tried to put me into a hot dog bun today. He's talking about Darth Vader's penis. It's the first time anyone has touched me since Padme. That is sad. That is Darth Vader the incel, 100%. And Orbital 1970 Goat says most people rent storage units. Jeff uses multiple cars. You say that, but Jeff and I were able to get in a car together
with 7 other people.
7 other people. Now it was demoralizing. It was humiliating for everyone involved. But we still did it. I think Jeff.
What is this story?
Well, we were at Star Wars Celebration together, and we'd all gone out for Chinese food, and it was 9 people, and we could either walk back, catch a cab, or all cram into this small kind of utility vehicle. Like it was smaller than an SUV, kind of one of those kind of mid-size SUVs. And we decided instead to all try to cram into this SUV. 9 people. And most of us were big. I mean, me and Jeff are I'm not as big as Jeff, but I'm pretty big. Jeff's pretty big. All cramming into this SUV. We put the girls in the back, and then the guys all kind of jammed into the middle seat. And it was only for like a couple mile drive, so it wasn't that bad. But we all did multiple live streams.
The best part was you saying, "This feels like a college prank." That's the first thing you said as we got in the car.
It was that was a fun thing. I can't wait till next year. Mr. Melange says, "Can CG get the Manimal and Automan IPs? Bad 80s TV hasn't been properly comicked yet." Manimal is actually decent. Automan. Do you remember Automan?
I remember all these very well. Manimal was okay because he would actually transform and the effects were okay. Automan was stupid.
What about?
And then they had a cartoon that was very similar to
Auto Teen, wasn't it, or Turbo Teen?
Turbo.
I knew that one.
Turbo Teen, I'd be interested in because, it was. I mean, there are all kinds of really strange things that you could do if you overthought Turbo Teen. Like what goes on anatomically with that guy that he is able to turn into a car, a working automobile that fools other people. It'd be interesting. I love all that stuff. When you get a crappy idea like that, and your job is to really make it make sense and bring dignity and weight to it. I love that. So it was fun. I wanted to do the Wonder Twins, but I guess they're ruined forever. I would, Wonder Twins would have been fun to actually take seriously. Plastic Man, take that seriously. I guess that's been destroyed too. Forever. Is that true, Zach?
No.
No? Okay, good. Orbital 1970 Goat says, I was referencing fan mail storage, not his size. We know. Fraud 79 says, Cecil, send Cecil the link, you monster. Cecil has the link. He can come in whenever he wants. I sent it to his Twitter. Snowtep says, Cecil, thanks for the Zach AOC image in my head. I hate you. Yeah, a lot of people are worried about Zach making love to AOC and then that being resulting in a pregnancy. I don't think that's going to be a problem, Zach. I don't think you're going to have to meet AOC. I hope not. I found out she's 29. I'm like, it's a 29-year-old making policy. I just find that upsetting. Am I too old or is she way too young? 29.
Well, I mean, the Green New Deal was fun for a while, so you may not be the crazy party.
Lama Giganti says Cecil needs the link dummy. This is now the 4th time that I've said that I sent Cecil the link to his Twitter. He has the link. Fandom Menace, $2 says, guys, don't forget to watch the highlights. Fandom Menace actually does a highlight channel. With that having been said, I'm so glad that you guys came to join us tonight. Zach, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. It's a rare privilege to talk, and I have to say, it felt like 2017, and a lot of people know what that means. He did get. God damn it! People are like, he didn't get it. He did get it, and it doesn't matter because I'm ending the show.
Five,
maybe he didn't get it. I said,
I thought he was gonna pop in and go hello, and as you hit the close out the stream button.
He did. He honestly didn't get it. I said, "Will you be a guest?" And then I just didn't send him the link because he didn't answer me. But I knew I sent him an email or a private message. Whoops. In any case, Cecil, come on in real quick and we'll say goodbye. I want to thank everyone for joining us on the High Council tonight. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. Thank you, Jeremy, for not being here. I know you needed a break. Jeremy works hard. Jeremy might be the hardest working. Jeremy just uploaded a video. You son of a bitch, just now. You mother effer, why aren't you working? Why aren't you working on your channel? You're not working on the... He's like, I have things to do, Ethan. What the I'm gonna call him up. Logan Michael Anti Funko Pops $2.99 says pie. Yes, I wish. Zaire for $5 says sorry I'm late. Have job interview tomorrow. Have you checked out Fizz Pop One's channel? No, Fizz Pop One.
Never heard of him.
Me either. Hi Cecil.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. We will see you next week. We're going to be on Jeff on your channel, I hope.
I mean, we can be, but it is Jeremy's turn, so if he's too busy, yeah,
I think we should take it away from him. Yeah, he is too busy, evidently. We'll see you next week on Geeks and Gamers, and have a fantastic week. Thanks, everyone.